actually wanting this god-awful rock to shuffle off its own mortal coil. So I'm
no meteor strike before I learn the Hotel California
I'm joking. I'm joking relatively. No, I don't worry about
Hotel
it.
California.
I don't worry about it in the sense that it's keeping me up at night. But I I've got brothers and sisters still serving, Jonesy friends and family, and while wars affect everyone, it directly affects us, those that have to go fight it. So I'm always concerned about stuff like that. I'm pretty much set up, guys. Cavill.
Yeah, we should have recorded that. We should have put that in the.
Yeah, I realized I wasn't recording, and I was like, "Damn, man, that would have just been super interesting." We've got your Sandman,
the BGR. The G stands for geopolitics.
we've got your Sandman story, your Wonder Man story. Did you guys want to talk about that Hercules stuff?
What was the Hercules stuff?
I
know that they're making it.
Yeah, the Russo brothers came out and said that their approach to the music side of it is taking an inspiration from TikTok, because that's how audiences have been trained. So,
what does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. That's how they said it.
Explain as you would a child.
Okay.
What the fuck does that mean?
So what I take from it, when they say that, let me get the exact quote here.
Well, so as you're looking that up, here's my consternation. Here's why I reacted that way. In Hercules, to me, the singing is a fantastic part of that film. It's a linchpin of that film to me. Like the breaks to them singing, fantastic. I love
the muses and stuff.
And if they fuck up the muses with some TikTok bullshit.
So here's what Joe Russo said. There are questions about how you translate it as a musical. Audiences today have been trained by TikTok, right? What is their expectation of what that musical looks like and feels like? That can be a lot of fun and help us push the boundaries a little bit on how you execute a modern musical. Let me also give you this bit. They have said that this will focus more on Herc's celebrity during his heroing, not necessarily him becoming a hero. So
are they going to make this motherfucker a social media influencer?
Nothing I've seen says that it's contemporary in setting. I hope to God not. But I just had images of the muses dancing TikTok dances, and that was awful in my brain. And is it going to be just short, 30-second, 1 minute long singing sessions? I don't know. Parchment, is people going to hold out Parchment for the announce? I don't know. Dancing Parchment.
Jonesy does not look happy.
Well, so here's one of the things. It is interesting to me that Disney seems to be struggling with the fact that part and parcel to their animated features is the music. And as I watch something like Mulan just shit the bed, while it wouldn't have been a good movie, it would have been a better movie with Gonna Make a Man Out of You, right? Like if you just give me something. Right? Give me a dragon, give me a cricket, give me the music, right? There are elements from Disney movies that the question of how do you translate this for this? I remember there's a scene in Triple X with Vin Diesel when he says to the tech guy, I want you to put all of that in there, right? He's talking about all the weapons, all the missiles, all the gadgets, put all that shit in this fucking Plymouth over here. Do it. So same thing. You want to make live action? Good. Go the fuck ahead. Put all that, take all that shit that I love, put over here. Just drop it. That's how you do it. That's how you translate it. It's very weird to me. Hello. Welcome to Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, the premier flagship and we're particularly international podcast development online this week. It's myself and Danny Bonaducci. No. Danny K. Bartlett. Sir, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you, my friend. All good. The weather is so nice here. I am on the motorcycle more often than not, so I am a happy bunny.
Nobody likes a fucking braggart. It's raining missiles here. So how about you keep
nice.
your happy weather to yourself? And it's cold. It's cold and it's raining missiles. On the ones and twos, we have Kyle Malone producing the show fantastically well as usual. Kyle, how's it going?
My mic is not on now. Crap.
Just give me a thumbs up.
I'm good.
He gave me a thumbs up. His mic isn't on, but he gave me a thumbs up. If you just heard my rant about Hercules, I'm sorry. I'm seeing Disney's track record with these live action films, and while I do love Joe and Anthony Russo, like, the news just gives me a little bit of consternation. But whatever, we'll see what happens. It's not my story. It's not my story to tell. Maybe the TikTok generation will just latch on. And you know what? That's another complaint that I have. I'm going to sound like a get off the grass type of old man here with my Movember mustache with a little bit of salt and pepper in it. The people that initially fell in love with this story, the people that are going to take their kids to go see this, want that stuff, right? They want that one-to-one translation. And while I understand that a one-to-one translation isn't always possible, generally the ones that are the most excited about taking their kids to see this stuff are the ones that initially fell in love with it. It's really weird to me to see, not weird, I understand it, but it's fascinating to me to see like a Goofy movie coming back because the kids that loved Powerline and the songs from that movie are just so excited, and they're adults and they're dressing up as Powerline and doing the dance and singing the song. And so it's strange to me that from their ivory tower, Disney can't look out and see like, oh, that's who we should be marketing.
I saw a Powerline costume during Halloween.
That's right. Yeah, button my shirt coming undone. So upset over here. For those of you not watching the show,
big muscles.
For those of you not watching the show, you missed my pecs. Anyway, we've got a good show for you lined up. It's going to be a short one. We're talking Wendell and Wild, the new Netflix movie from Key and Peele. Good to say Key and Peele. They're back. And we've got an assortment of news. I think, when we didn't talk about this before, do you guys want to front load the movie and then just move on to the news?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. Let us do it. So, Wendell and Wild is a 2022 stop-motion animated film from the minds of Key and Peele. It is directed by Henry Selick, who is the man behind James and the Giant Peach, Nightmare Before Christmas, and Coraline. So you walk into this film kind of with an expectation of what you think you're going to get. And here is the synopsis. From the delightfully wicked minds of Henry Selick and Jordan Peele comes Wendell and Wild, an animated tale about scheming demon brothers Wendell and Wild, who enlist the aid of 13-year-old Cat Elliott, a tough teen with a load of guilt, to summon them to the land of the living. But what Cat demands in return leads to a brilliantly bizarre and comedic adventure like no other, an animated fantasy that defies the law of life and death, all told through the handmade artistry of stop motion animation. It's always interested me that in a synopsis you have to say that something is brilliant, right? Like, it's genius, it's brilliant. Like, just let us do that. We'll do that. We'll tell you if it's brilliant.
That's for us to decide.
Yeah. Man. It's got a stellar cast, right? So you've got Keegan-Michael Key, you've got Jordan Peele, you've got Lyric Ross from This Is Us fame, Angela Bassett, James Hong, Ving Rhames, right? You're walking into this film, and I will tell you straight up, this film has an 81% from the critics and a 69% audience score. I'm actually more in line with the audience on this film. It's fine. It's not a bad movie, but again, if you're walking into a film directed by Henry Selick, this is my fault. This is on me. I walked in with expectations that this film couldn't meet. And, expectations are the thief of joy. And I'm curious whether or not, had this been directed by someone else, would I have been as, for lack of a better word, disappointed? Or no, not disappointed, whelmed. Everyone's overwhelmed. People are underwhelmed. I'm whelmed.
Well,
And I walked away from this film wanting more. And it what I find is interesting. I'm glad I'm here with you, Danny, because I get to say this to your face, your handsome face. This movie did the same thing that Black Adam did for me, where it introduced a side story or a backstory that was more interesting than the main story. We were introduced to characters throughout the course of this film, and I was like, "Ooh, what's that? What's that piece of lore? What's going on there?" And it's like, no, that's not what this is about. History? Yeah, and I'm like, that to me is more interesting than the story that we got. And so that was my frustration with the movie overall. The main focus of the film wasn't as interesting to me as those things. So while I think that it looks gorgeous, I think it's well acted. And I think that it has a really fun and interesting musical soundtrack. Overall, it just kind of fell flat for me. I didn't think it was particularly funny. Yeah, whelmed. Whelmed is my word. But I've said all that. Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, well, you said all that, and I'm sitting there going, yep, I agree. Yeah, what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, I was not over or underwhelmed either. I struggled with trying to figure out what it actually was trying to be, because it was interesting listening to the synopsis there, because I'm like, well, that's not actually the movie I think we got, because they talked about the double dealing and cleverness of the demons.
Demon Brothers,
they kind of bumbled into their ability to do what they wanted to do more by accident. And it's pretty much every other character that was scheming and backstabbing and double crossing. I didn't find the funny bits particularly funny. I thought the darkness was pretty dark. It went to some dark places occasionally and then kind of just brushed over them. Like, oh, holy shit, that was nasty. And then they almost like they tried to soften that up with the gag that followed, but the gag wasn't that funny. So it just left me, like you, a bit confused about what it was trying to be. And it ended up being pretty much none of the above, which is why our whelms were neither undered or overed. I was disappointed. But one of the notes I did make was I did love the soundtrack. I love the fact that the parents, what was it on their little classic stereo? The parents was dad's favorite music or something, and it was a punk song. It was some female-led punk song. Carl, I know you haven't watched the movie yet, but he'll probably know what it is. I'm like, wow, that the dad was into some bizarre shit. That was pretty cool. And then the rest of the soundtrack was really good, even with Ghost Town playing at the beginning. I thought the soundtrack was great. The acting was spot on. The voice actor choices was spot on. I just don't think the movie kind of knew what it was trying to be. And I did actually say to Carl off air, I would rate this below Nightmare and Coraline. I think Coraline's my favorite out of these stop motion ones, because it knew what it was trying to be and did it really well. This one, not sure what it was. So yes,
and
I agree.
And here's what's not fair about that comparison, because I agree with everything that you said. Coraline is a story by Neil Gaiman. That is what you got. And that's probably why it is my favorite of those. So I would probably end up giving this movie a C.
Yep.
But yeah, it's hard to walk out of a Neil Gaiman either feature or show. We're going to talk about him later in the show, and be disappointed. So Coraline, is definitely, of Henry Selick's work, definitely my favorite.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And like I said, that was that you knew what you were getting. It was exactly what it should have been. And I think that's one of the reasons why we probably enjoyed that more, because that's exactly what I wanted, and I got exactly what I was expecting. And they did it really well. It looked beautiful. This one, Wendell and Wild, does look stunning. The attention to detail was fantastic. Mm-hmm. But the more I think about that, those side characters, I can't remember the names. I'm used to this, but the janitor and the friendly sister at the school, their history, like, well, they've got some sort of love-hate relationship going on. They're demon hunters, or they had bears themselves. They're used to. I want to know more about that. What? How? What? Who? How does he? That was far more interesting, wasn't it? Other than what we actually ended up getting story-wise.
And you know what's funny? Their relationship actually kind of made me think of Blade. I started thinking of Blade and Whistler. So their relationship was very much like that's how it came off to me. Just like that, not necessarily hate, but just like that, they're both very strong-willed, and that comes through. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I would watch a prequel to this. How does a demon hunter become a nun? Right? How does a demon hunter become paralyzed? Like, it was fascinating to me. And then there is, I can't tell if I want to spoil this movie or not. There are powers that are displayed in this movie. I'm like, what is that? What are her powers? Like, I'm really curious about that. And so I was more interested in that than the main story.
I don't want to go into too many spoilers either, but there were some questions, especially in the third act. There were some questions about who gets to go up and who gets to come down, and why do they all get to go? Why are they all going down to the same place? Because they seem like, should we say, good people to me. So why would they go to what is in essence not a nice place to go? I was a bit confused by that.
Because there's a theme park.
Yeah, but it wasn't exactly a fun theme park, was it? I think that's in the trailer that Netflix are putting up for it. When you open Netflix and you click on the icon, that's not a nice theme park. That's not a happy place to be. I don't want to go that way. Yeah, I got the impression that the parents were going to go down there. So
I can explain that. Do you want to jump into spoilers?
I'm happy to. I don't know if Carl wants to tap out how desperate he is not to be spoiled by this.
Okay, we got an east-west from Kyle. Gives zero shits. And it's weird.
Okay, I don't have too much to the toilet.
I don't have too much to say about this movie and spoilers, and like, we can talk about the questions that we have, but I got the impression from the ending that the parents were going to get a pass to go to this theme park that was going to be rebuilt. And
right, okay.
I did not get the impression that they would be stuck there. They could just go when they wanted to. Gotcha. There seemed to be some sort of reconciliation between Wendell Wild and I cannot remember Ving Rhames' name. But that was my takeaway.
That was the bear itself, wasn't it? Beazle Bear. That was the actual pink bear, was called Beazle Bear. I'm trying to remember what the guy was too. Yeah, there were a couple of bits in there that I was confused about from a plot spoiler point of view. It's the
Buffalo Bells
when he gave up.
Thank you.
This is why he's paid the big money, Jones. He comes up with that stuff. Yeah, whatever Carl just said, Beazle, Buzzle, something. Right at the end when Wendell and Wild were, I think, being captured by their dad, and then the guy in the wheelchair gives up the demons that he's already captured, which are the big demons' other siblings. Let my friends go. Was he referring to Wendell and Wild? And why were they friends all of a sudden? And then straight after that, the big bad demon just went down and said, "Come with me anyway." It's almost like they weren't being captured. They didn't need to be a trade-off. And how come they suddenly became friends? That payoff wasn't there for me.
Maybe so I might be confused. When he said friends, the only thing that I could think is that he was talking about Sister Hella, and you're just benefiting from being in her orbit, right? Because she can't be my friend. And
sorry, Jones, but the big guy didn't come up even bothered by that. He literally just came up to get his kids, the two, Wendell and Wild, to punish them or take them back. At no point did I actually feel like he was even threatening anybody else other than those two. In fact, when they were getting away and they were on top of the hearse, he was literally reaching for them. He gave two shits, or did not give two shits about any other person. He wasn't up there to
I thought he had all of them in his hand, didn't he?
No, he only had the two. He just had his kids in his hand. The rest were on the ground. So I was a bit confused.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Threatening you guys, just let him take those two arsehole demons with him, because they've been nothing but a pain in the ass for everybody. So why are you suddenly protecting them? There was a few. Hey, listen, Jonesy, I've got a question for you. Just on a broad stroke of this stuff. You know, right at the beginning, big spoilers right now, when the parents died.
Yeah.
Right? If that was let's say I'm comparing it strangely to the beginning of Black Adam, where how stupidly hidden the crown was, where they just went up into the mountains, walked through a crack in the mountains, and there was a sign on the wall that says, "Here lies the secret place of the crown." Well, it's not a fucking secret. You just told us it's here. And then when they walked in, it was literally just there floating in midair. So that was the worst hidden. Sorry for spoilers on Black Adam, anybody out there now. Worst hidden crown thing ever. And that would have been something that I would have said if I didn't say it the other week, was really shitty writing. And that was awful and that was terrible and blah, blah, blah.
No, you were telling me how brilliant it was.
Not that bit. That bit was stupid. But at the beginning, when they die, I don't understand why the mum was having a conversation with the kid about getting out of the car and why they weren't trying to unclip the husband's seatbelt, because he was clearly
I think she was. So I think she pushed the kid out and what it looked like to me was she pushed the kid out and turned to try to get him out. Now, to your question, why you wouldn't do that first?
Because they had air in the car, right? Yes. The water only came in when she undid the window, which was, yes. Okay, I get that bit, because soon you're going to not be able to do that. But unlock your husband, have the conversation with your daughter. In a moment, I'm going to undo the window and we'll all get out. And so my question was, in a live action film, do you think there's a little bit of letting them, not, for want of a better word, get away with stuff like that to drive the story forwards, where we wouldn't be quite so critical because it's animation compared to live action? Genuine question. Because I was sitting there going, oh, well, it drives the movie. I get why they did it, but
I agree. I think in a live action movie, you would probably have more shots of a stuck seatbelt. You would have somebody trying to get it undone, and you would like a close up on the hands, like somebody grabbing and shaking and trying to get the seatbelt undone. And then a realization like, well, fuck, we're not going to get out of this. And so you get the kid out. And I do think that probably because it was animation, we give it a pass.
Because it was animation, not because it was budget on the animation, because I can't see as that being the screen time, run time.
That I don't know. So for runtime, probably not, because that is, less than half a second of a shot.
But on a show like this, that's a lot of work though, right?
Yeah.
That could be a lot of work on a stop motion animation show. That could be some poor guy's job for a day. Just that little scene.
Yeah. I mean, the cheat is to do voice, right? He's stuck. I can't. So that is one way around it. And for whatever reason, they just didn't. And so I think just the expectation is because it's animation, we give it a pass.
Yeah, and I think that's where I led. I'm like, oh, well, that's silly, but okay. Anyway, let's just enjoy the movie, because this is the beginning. It hasn't really started yet. Let's get on with it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, especially in light of kind of what we're just talking about a little bit with Hercules and the Disney boss this week talking about animation not being for adults. So the whole, I particularly agree with, I think it was Del Toro, right, that said that animation is just a medium. It's not necessarily for young or old. It's just a medium, just like anything else, whether it's print or visual. It's just a way of telling stories. It's not for adults or kids or either or. And that was it, because this was definitely a dark show. I wouldn't necessarily say it's for young kiddies. It's a dark show. There's some killing in it and some stuff.
My mom does that, and it drives me nuts, where she says, I will ask her, has she seen something? And she'll say it's a cartoon. If I say that it's a cartoon, she's like, and she's immediately done with it. And so we were talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it was somebody else that was talking about how awesome it was. She's like, I never saw it. I was like, I told you to watch it. And she's like, well, I can't. Why didn't I watch it? I said, because it's anime. She goes, how? And she immediately wrote it off. It was like, they're telling you this is one of the best Spider-Man movies, period. Yeah. Animated, live action, whatever. And you're just like, fuck it. It's a cartoon. I want to watch it. Fuck you, mom.
Yeah. Yeah, shame. And I think the reason why my ramblings went because of Hercules, because that reference to TikTok is the younger people using TikTok. The kids use TikTok.
I love you, mom.
We love you, Jonesy, mum. But you should watch Into the Spider-Verse. God damn it. But anyway, I ramble on. Coraline, I agree with your score. Jonesy, I would go a C. It's, check it out. I would recommend it if you're sitting at home and you're doing the whole Netflix and chill and you like those kind of movies, but I wouldn't necessarily say put it to the top of your list.
Yeah, it's the last thing I'll say about it is what I think is interesting is that when I had cable, if I'm flipping through the channels, even if I had cable now, Coraline is on, I will stop. Not necessarily with The Nightmare Before Christmas. For some reason, I acknowledge that it is good, but it's not one that I'd that repeat viewings do anything for me, but I would tolerate it for like, oh, it's Christmas time, let's watch it.
Yep.
So yeah, I have no compunction to go back and watch it again.
Yep.
But if you told me you were making a sequel or a prequel that was about those characters, I would be
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The janitor. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. Anyway, have we successfully enticed or deterred you, Kyle, from watching or not watching this film? Because that's what it's all about. What does Kyle think?
I was interested, and now you guys have made it to where I'm not.
So you know what? Throw it on. I'm really curious.
I got so much stuff I have to watch. I can't fill it. That's like Nick telling me, we should watch Morbius for Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. No, Nick, if you want to watch it, you watch it. I don't. But it'll be good. No one watched it. No one wants to watch someone talk about it months after no one watched it.
What are you talking about? It's Morbin time, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm good. I got other things to watch. Everyone should be watching the Eminence in Shadow. That is a badass anime with a ridiculous character. Anyways,
get there.
Bye.
I'm watching Spy X Family. I'll get there.
Spy Family is great. Don't need to pronounce the X on that one.
What? Spy Cross Family? It's not Spy.
No, it's just Spy Family.
That's weird.
Well, so you got Hunter x Hunter. It's not Hunter x Hunter. You got Spy Family, but then you got like High School DxD. So it is acceptable for us to not always know which times to pronounce the X and which times not.
You all are the only people that I talk about this shit with. So the times that it gets pronounced out loud, here, it's right here. So
yeah, I tell you the strangest thing in the world is listening to audiobooks and from books that you've already read, because I never had gotten into audiobooks before and checked out some that I had read before, and hearing things pronounced differently is a freak out moment because you're like, no, and then you realize that the authors are generally contacted for pronunciation, and then you're like, you bastard.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So the one of those, so not exactly 1-to-1, but the one that I still will never accept is the pronunciation of Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. It's Raish. It's Raish. I don't care what you say. Anyway, guys, ready to move on? The thing that we're all going to be watching, because Avatar 2 needs to beat every other film ever. Avatar 2 just dropped the trailer. Listen, Kyle's shaking his head. Everybody's going to watch this. Don't lie. After 14 years, it's been about 14 years. All the jokes, all the memes, whatever, everybody's going to watch this. It looks gorgeous. It's funny if the not.
That's the end of the review.
That's the end of the sentence. Well, no. Here's the other part. If Na'vi were real people, I would feel racist for saying this. I can't tell these motherfuckers apart. Like, they all look the same to me. And so my ability to be attached to this, like, one, again, it's been 14 years. So I kind of remember. It's like Dances with Wolves, Dances with Wolves. Sure. With blue people. And like, but for their haircuts, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. So it's fascinating to me that not only can I not tell them apart, but they've actually duplicated the avatar that Jake is using. So the guy, what was his name? Was it Korch? Is back in this one, and he is going to be using a duplicate of Jake's body. And it's like, you guys have just made the problem worse. Why would you do this? Anyway, aside from gorgeous looking Danny, do you even know who I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about when I say this? The words that are coming out of my mouth to understand.
Yeah, I do understand the word. I'm because it's been so long, like you said, almost 15 years. I had a couple of questions about that, so I'm going to come to that, and hopefully that will make sense as to why I'm not sure. I literally just watched the trailer about 2 hours ago with my nephew, my oldest nephew, and we both sat there and said, "Oh, that's really pretty." And then I looked at him when it was over, and we both at the same time went, nah, it looks really pretty. And this is one of those rare moments where I was actually like, because I normally don't like a trailer to give too much away. You and I have agreed on this. Remember, Bullet Train was brilliant when it told us nothing, and then the second trailer came as up. But I actually felt like, well, I think you need to sell me on the story a little bit this time, because otherwise it's just pretty things. And I'm like, it looks pretty, I will watch it. But are they just going to repeat the same story? Is it just going to be the big bad humans with their machines come and try and trash a planet, and we fight against the machines?
No,
and that's it?
this seems like it seems like we're getting more explanation of the world. So the first time it was about Jake getting accustomed to this avatar body, and we're getting accustomed to the planet that we're on. And he's getting accustomed to the Na'vi that he's with. Now it seems like this family that he has rallied around, that he has drawn to him, is so it's him and Natiri. They have kids, and they're going to another tribe for whatever reason. I don't know. So this is the water tribe. And so we're going to be introduced to this whole other culture that's there. So like, think about our planet. They're going from one continent, I don't know, to another.
Yep.
And so it's going to be our interactions with them. And then Quaritch, who was mortally wounded in the first one, the guy that was the Marine that was played by Stephen Lang, has a body that is the same as Jake Sully's. And you can tell the difference as you're watching a trailer so like, go back and watch it again. You'll see Jake, the guy that Sam Worthington plays. He'll have a Marine high and tight, and he will have a tattoo on his arm, and then he'll be carrying a rifle. That's bad Jake.
Oh wow! Okay, I honestly
wow.
I will watch. Wow! I will watch it again for that. But like you now I'm like, well, shit! You're going to have to make him carry a gun all the time, and Jake not carry a gun, or something really, really bold that is completely different. Otherwise, in all that action with all those blue people and slightly less blue, I think the aqua ones are green. I saw a slight tone change in color for those. Yeah, that's going to be confuddling, to say the least. Yep.
As long as he says, I'm Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, every time he comes on screen. Every time he's appeared.
Yeah. I don't know. The other thing that makes me excited about this is Vin Diesel's in it. So since we have a film series that it seems to exclusively be about family, the memes will continue. Let the memes flow. So yeah, that's it. Anything else to say?
I've got nothing. I'm going to leave you for 10 seconds to ramble. I've got nothing on that. It looks pretty. I'll see it on the big screen. But at the moment, it's just meh.
You guys know the runtime?
I assume it's going to be like 3 hours.
It is 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Damn it. Soft, but 10 minutes is just the credits. I'm going to say I was right.
Yeah, it is too long for... It's too long for me for something that I don't care.
Too serious.
Well, no,
too serious.
The first one.
I'm trying to find a Fast and Furious title. Too serious. Sorry, go ahead. Interrupt.
It's just the first movie is just a big tech demo, and it looked good, but it wasn't all that engrossing. It didn't feel all that epic to me, and I'm not one for 3D movies, 3D entertainment in that way, at least not now, not the way that it's executed. So I have no care for it. So to get me into a theater for that long is just not gonna happen. I'm sorry, but yeah, 3 hours and 3 hours and 12 minutes, depending on who's writing up the article. But yeah, it's a long film.
3 hours and no 3D. I wonder.
Wow.
I imagine there probably will be some 3D. I bet there will be.
I would assume. I can look.
Who knows?
I thought it was. I think even Spider-Man was.
Yes, it will be 3D. Yes.
All right. Well, that's good. At least we'll have something. Next story.
Moving on. Moving on.
Oh, man, I've got this weird throat thing happening. Oh. I don't know what's going on. I need water. Oh God, it hurts. Anyway. So
drink water, soldier.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, have some of mine, Jonesy.
I need that.
Don't add to my editing work. No dying on screen. You go off camera to do that.
Oh, it tastes so good.
It's like I had this weird drainage. And it's just like I have no idea what's going on in my throat. I don't know. It was like it was coming from a nasal passage down to my throat, and it was just really bad. It's terrible. I'm fine. So anyway, Marvel has cast Wonder Man. Variety is reporting that Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, or Deuce as I call him, Deuce has been cast as Wonder Man. As in, man, wonder what the fuck happened to that Matrix sequel. Anyway, this person that you know from Watchmen and Aquaman, and definitely not the Matrix sequel, has been cast as Wonder Man, not fan favorite Nathan Fillion, which I'm sure won't bother the internet at all. I am whatever. It's going to be a TV show, and it's going to star him. I have no idea how this is going to fit into the overall Marvel universe. I'm fairly certain, wasn't there a Wonder Man Easter egg in one of the Guardians movies? Or
yes, posters.
Yeah. So I'm curious what they're going to do with that. If that means anything at all. Just ignore it.
Do you want a little bit of context on who's working on the project and what else they're doing or have done with Marvel?
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say
Destin Daniel Cretton.
There you go. You've already got it. Run.
Yeah. So he's the guy that directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings, which doesn't really bolster my confidence in the project.
That is like outside of No Way Home, that is the most solid Phase 4 project we've got outside of Loki. As far as films, that is an Iron Man 1 level solid movie.
Except for that third act.
Okay, the third act of almost every Marvel movie boils down, and that's why we got the wonderful She-Hulk stuff, I guess. But I mean, literally, like, think about all the other film. Like, think about Phase 4 in its entirety. You're not going to get not James Webb, not Mark Webb, the dude that did Spider-Man the Spider-Man MCU trilogy. You're not going to get him on anything. So if you were going to borrow anything from Phase 4, wouldn't it be this guy?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I just I'm not saying like I hate it. I don't want to see this. This isn't Wonder Woman 84 vibes where I'm just like completely out. I'm just saying I'm not excited for the project. I do think that I do think that Shang-Chi had really, really good setup. I really, really enjoyed the first 2/3 of that film. I thought that the relationship between father, daughter, and son is fantastic. I really was interested in seeing where that went. And when they went to Dark Smoke Monster and like Smoke Demons, I was out. So as a narrative emotional hook, I was kind of out of that film. You know what? This is a different project, but endings matter to me. And we'll see what he does with this. Good luck. Not against him. Just saying, not particularly excited. That's all. But, I guess I'm going to have to be because he's also directing Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. So I guess I better fucking get on board or get off the train. Anyway. Danny, what do you think? Save me from my rant.
For different reasons, but I'm not. I have no idea who this character is. I have no thought on this whatsoever. The choice of actor to play him, I have no idea if that's good, bad, or ugly. I have no idea who this superhero is. So you can give me pretty much anything and anyone playing anything right now, and I wouldn't have a clue. So if either of you can actually tell me who this guy is, this character is, and why I should give a shit, and whether or not he's like Captain Marvel level powerful, or if he's going to be as annoying as hell as that other show we had.
So I'm fairly certain that they will put their spin on it, but I can read you Variety's write-up of the comic book version. So in the comic books, Williams is the son of a wealthy industrialist whose company, Williams Innovations, is run out of business due to competition from Stark Industries. In desperation, Simon turns to Baron Zemo, who gives Simon superpowers and directs him to infiltrate and then betray the Avengers. Eventually, Simon joins the Avengers in earnest and is eventually a founding member of the spinoff team, the West Coast Avengers. So based on that,
is he an Iron Man tech hero? He's not.
No,
he doesn't have powers.
I don't even remember his powers. Isn't there a weird thing?
It's like energy-based stuff.
Does he have some weird relationship with Vision, or am I making that up?
I don't recall.
They use some of his.
Like a sexual relationship.
I thought it was the original Human Torch that was. There's some tech stuff involved in that. You might be right about it being Vision, though.
I'm gonna have to find this. Anyway,
strength, speed, stamina, durability. He's got ionic energy based abilities, so they can do a lot of whatever they want. Basically, he's kind of like he's kind of like a generic mutant slug, if you will, and I mean slug as in like in the mechanical sense. You know, he can be used for anything. You know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. This is annoying. Danny, can you ask questions while
I've got lots of questions, particularly about this particular character.
What is it you're looking for specifically, Jonesy?
I'm trying to find. I thought there was some relationship between Wonder Man and Vision.
Well,
here we go.
The West
Simon's
Coast
body
stuff.
Simon's body was about to be buried when it was captured by his brother known as the Grim Reaper, who had already battled the Avengers, blaming them for Simon's death. The Reaper wanted to use the body to bribe the robotic Vision to accept a human body. The Vision refused, where it was first revealed that Vision's mind was based on Simon's own brain patterns. That's the connection.
And we've got a rumor about a Vision Quest series being developed.
Yeah.
So,
I was just about to ask that question. Do we think that those are linked? That if we're bringing Vision back, it's to create that connection that you were just talking about, Jonesy? I mean, possible.
It would be nice. As much connective tissue as that they could build, I think that'd be interesting. We'll see. But yeah, that's what my brain was kind of remembering from childhood. Vision's brain patterns, Wonder Man.
Well,
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Give me something.
Does that excite you? Does that excite you at all?
No.
No. All right, moving on.
No.
Moving on. I promise some Neil Gaiman. We're bringing up Neil Gaiman. Lucifer season 2 has officially been announced. What?
Who?
What?
You mean the other one? You mean Enter the Sandman, young man?
Jesus, Sandman. Why was I thinking about? Oh, I know why. I'll tell you guys later. I've got a surprise for you guys, and I'll tell you all later. But anyway, yeah, Sandman is coming back. Season 2 has been announced. They announced it on Twitter. The tweet has been deleted, but the deleted tweet, because the internet is forever, reads as follows. The dream continues. The Sandman will return with new episodes based on multiple volumes of the Neil Gaiman graphic novel to explore even more stories of the endless. I am curious why the tweet was deleted. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the show was announced or that it was renewed. I thought it was really good, but it does speak to the number of people that watched it, because we're in the era where Netflix isn't afraid to cancel shit, especially in the first season. But it seemed like there was a lot of care and money put into the production of this. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't want to go purely selfish reasons. I haven't finished watching it yet. I'm only 4 episodes in, and I really am enjoying it myself, and particularly how much care was taken on the visual side of things. So without knowing what happens at the end, without knowing which part of the stories they continue through, don't want to talk about it too much. But right now, 4 eps in, I'm happy for a season 2. As long as
I was just about to say, I'm done spoiling things for you this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you that aren't on the Discord, another user and I, was it me and Zeb? Who was it? We accidentally spoiled. Yeah, we spoiled the Barbarian for Danny. Talking about the plot.
Well, in fairness, I forgive you both, because you had chatted about it on the same show last week, and it was on our BGRtP channel on Discord, so it's absolutely fine. But obviously, I'm sitting there and going, okay, keep talking. Don't talk too much. Oh shit! Now you've just talked. Oh well, now I know who. Well, now I know who's probably the. Oh well, screw it. I'm not going to bother, but I will bother, because it sounds like it's actually a pretty good ride. So I'm okay with it, and I'm not a horror movie, should we say, fan. I enjoy some of them. But I'm happy that you guys enjoyed it. But yes, it's been pretty much spoiled for me now.
Sorry.
But I knew when I started, I could have stopped reading. I could have switched off at any point. It's on me. Don't. You and Zeb shouldn't lose too much sleep. Not that you probably give a shit, but there you go.
All right. All right. So yeah, I've said a lot about the Sandman. What is there anything? Are you looking forward to a season 2 of this? Or does this accelerate your plans to finish season 1?
Yeah, that was just going to say, all it's done now is ignite me. It's made me put it back to the top of the list and catch up on this show again, because I really was enjoying it. And it was only because we moved house recently that it kind of got put on the back burner for work stuff reasons. But now I'm pretty much going to continue watching it tonight. As soon as the show's done, I'm going to stick episode 5 on. Yeah, I've forgotten how good it was. So yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this. They actually had some bonus episodes come out, which is super strange to me. But I was excited to get it. I'm not complaining. It was just different.
Yeah. We haven't. I don't recall any show ever doing that before. And to not even announce that, just drop them all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's fascinating. Tweaking the business model. I like it. So I'm reading through something that Kyle sent me right now. This sounds really bad. Warner Brothers Discovery loses $2.3 billion, hints at imminent price hike for HBO Max. So this is breaking news that's just been posted on IGN. What I find fascinating about this is that they are removing content from HBO Max, but are also going to charge more for it. All right. So
I sent that because I know that at some point I think we're going to talk Witcher news tonight, right? And I figured that might be quite well connected to that with Warner Brothers and the recent reacquisition of a certain Mr. Cavill.
Yeah. So Zaslav was on an earnings call and said spending money with abandon, all in the service of building sub numbers, is, in our view, deeply flawed. The audience will tell you what they love. They'll spend time with it and they'll watch it and rewatch it. We're trying to be deliberate about the shows that are helping us.
Yeah, I don't know if I think it must have been in the same interview as well, Jonesy, that the CEO also said that he's very much happy and keen to do more Harry Potter films if J.K. Rowling agrees to. So it sounds like he really wants to milk current IP that is worth some money, although Fantastic Beasts is kind of showing us a slightly different story. But it does seem like they want to lean towards the known properties to recoup some of that $3 billion that's been lost somewhere.
Maybe they'll go back and tell the actual story everyone was interested in, which was the lead up to the fallout between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, not a bunch of random crap in the middle afterwards, but whatever.
Yeah. Every time I watch one of those, I was like, Why isn't the Jude Law story like the front and center thing in this fucking thing? I'd give zero shits about.
Be careful. Janet thinks that this was the better idea.
I mean, he's wrong.
Janet's not here.
He's wrong a lot.
He's not here.
I'm gonna beat him up while he's not here. He's wrong a lot. Remember the guy that was telling me that Shuri wasn't going to be the Black Panther? Remember that guy?
Was that the same guy?
Same guy. Recent history of wrongness. So yeah, this is interesting. I don't know how this business model works. And Kyle has said this multiple times that it's just not a sustainable business model and an environment and an economy where the expectation is constant, consistent growth for whatever it is. And so even if you saturate the market, not consistently growing is seen as bad.
Yep.
So I don't know how this works. Yeah. You know what would help? Making your content available around the world. So as I move from place to place and they can't figure out their licensing shit, I have to cancel subscriptions because stuff doesn't work wherever I go. So that's my 2 cents. Also, don't cancel projects that are done. You lost $3 billion, or I'm sorry, just over 2. That money that you spent on Batgirl wasn't going to hurt you. You got nothing. It was a drop in the bucket. Anyway.
Yeah, they even use that. They even use the Batgirl logo for that story on IGN.com. But the cost of that film was a drop in the ocean compared to the other $2.5 billion that was lost.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see if Black Adam and Henry Cavill can turn it around. And I guess that's a good way to transition into the other semi-related, the adjacent news about Henry Cavill. So as we've talked about for the last 2 weeks, Henry Cavill is back as Superman. But not only is he back as Superman, he is out as The Witcher. He's done. And in his place will be who is this kid? It's one of the Hemsworths, right?
Liam Hemsworth.
Liam. Yeah, it's one of them. I can't fucking remember which one. Liam Hemsworth, who is the one that no one was happy about getting because he was in the Hunger Games, and I guess his performance in the Hunger Games was suboptimal. We'll use that word, suboptimal. I really don't remember that much about the Hunger Games. I remember them being mediocre generally. So, and I remember lots of hate about Rue something. I don't remember. Anyway, there is a tweet that someone posted online. This individual's name is Cursed Hat. And they said that Henry Cavill has been fighting the showrunners for years, and it looks like he finally gave up his fight. Kyle also sent an article about this, so I'm going to read his first. The line is, the toughest part for me was finding that balance between showrunner's vision and my love of the books and trying to bring that Geralt to the showrunner's visions. It's about treading a fine line there. It's the showrunner story, and so it's an adaptation. The tricky bit for me was finding Geralt from the book's place within that and being able to serve both as much as I could. The things that I pushed for, it was not necessarily just more dialogue. It was bringing more of the book accurate Geralt to the screen. All of my asks and requests were along the lines of just being more faithful to the source material. Some of the other things I remember him saying was that he felt like in the books you were much more in Geralt's head, and he wanted to bring more of that out into the series. And it seems like this is going to be a bad way to put it, but I felt like the showrunners more titillated by the fact that all of the grunts that Cavill was doing were getting so much, they were meme worthy. And because of that, that was seen as a great success creatively. And so you have this push and pull between those two things. And it seems like Henry Cavill is now off-ramping into the DCEU, which I'm glad, but good luck. So, Danny, what do you think? What do you think about either Liam Hemsworth taking over the role or Henry Cavill's thoughts about this?
Yeah, so this is a property that I was not familiar with at all, but either from the books or the games. So I do remember, and I made a couple of notes on this. I do remember the first season, even though I liked the way that the timeline thing was being played. I thought that was quite clever. I did enjoy the first season because Henry Cavill was playing The Witcher, but I do remember at the time, and it might be a little bit, my memory might be a little bit fuggy, but I do remember thinking there's not much Witcher in this show. I thought he was the main character kind of thing running through my head. So I did enjoy season 2 more because it seemed to be a bit more focus on him, but I had no idea what his character was meant to be like. So those comments and stuff that I've heard from Henry Cavill since this story came up, since the news was that he wouldn't be in season 4, etc., I did find that quite interesting. Oh, well, that would make sense because that would make me a bit more interested in the character, The Witcher. Because as it stands, I'm only really interested in him for this show because it's Henry Cavill and he seems to be doing a great job as the character. Whether or not I would like that character more had he been more faithful to the books and or games, I don't know. But one of the reasons I liked the show as much as I did is because of him, which kind of does, and this is not necessarily fair on Liam Hemsworth, but I don't know if I'll even like the character as much if it's not Henry Cavill now. Now he's been replaced as well, and that's a whole other conversation. Especially just on a side note on that, I particularly like the tweet that you sent about that very same subject, Jonesy, about the recasting of a different actor in a titular role as The Witcher. So yeah, he's done the right thing. If everything that what we've seen from Henry Cavill is that the character was not what he wanted, what he expected, and what he was originally sold maybe when he signed on, then yeah, fair play to him. He's got other things to do. He's got other characters that he loves just as much, certain caped superhero. So fair play to him. I guess it's going to have to see how season 3 plays out, whether or not I'm really going to be interested in season 4, as far as Liam Hemsworth concerned.
Okay. Yeah, I think my takeaway from this is I respect him more as an actor, just based on this decision, right? Because it seems like he cares more about the process and the character than how successful it was. I got the impression that this is a pretty successful show. There was a spinoff coming out. They're even remastering the original game for current gen systems.
It's a rebuild from the ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the impression that some of that has to do with the popularity of the show, right? It is cyclical. It is like a symbiotic relationship. And for me, my entry point is like, I really did watch this because of him. I enjoy him as an actor. And so again, good on him for choosing basically the creativity, the process, and the craft over a paycheck.
Yep. And like you said before, Jonesy, about Netflix projects, they are very quick to drop them. And this one has proved popular enough to not just have a third, but at the moment, I'm sure that 4th season has been semi-greenlit, as in I'm sure there's a lot riding on season 3, and a lot of what we're discussing right now what might well make Netflix make a different decision. But at the moment, season 4 is going ahead, as far as we know, right? They've done some casting. So it's obviously a popular show, and I have no doubt that's influenced the games, and I've no doubt that's brought more people to check out the games and or the books. Which, if people recommend them to me, I will check them out too. The books.
I really enjoy them.
Games.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, sorry. The books. Stop it.
The books are supposed to be really good. They are on my list. I have less and less time to read nowadays, but I definitely have been audiobooking, and those are on my list to get. So yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know.
Yeah, maybe someone on the podcast can drop me a yay or nay as far as the books are concerned.
Yeah, jump on the Discord and let Danny know. Should he be reading or listening to The Witcher? The Witcher.
Reading. My listening is educational stuff. My reading is entertainment stuff. So podcast.
What's more educational in learning about a Witcher? It's educational.
Pretty much anything else.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that's it. I think geopolitics are fascinating. And if you weren't listening to the pre-show, which wasn't recorded, you missed out because we've covered everything from North Korea to China to Russia to South Korea. We solved it. We have solved the geopolitical issues here, but it's a rough time here in South Korea between what happened in Itaewon over Halloween and what's happening now between the missiles falling and jets being scrambled. So be safe out there. This is a week from hell, and I can't. It has always been fascinating to me living in Korea and seeing kind of the resiliency that people have living under the constant threat of a nuclear holocaust. And when everyone else notices, it's kind of fascinating, but they live with it every day. So, and then to throw on top of that, the tragedy, the deaths and injuries that happen in a place I used to live, it's hard. So
I was going to say, I was really surprised there were no service members that were reported, because that's a place service members would be at,
That's where we lived.
Yeah.
That was literally 2 minutes from my house. So
we soldiers love to party. So
yeah. But yeah, shocked at I was shocked and grateful at the lack of service member injuries and deaths, because of that. My heart goes out to those folks that either knew somebody or that were injured themselves or knew somebody that passed away. So yeah, that was rough. Anyway, I don't think I have any other stories to transition to move off from that.
That seems a good place to end things there, doesn't it?
And we're so close to a sub-hour show. We're at about an hour and 2 minutes. So good job.
It's all right. Got to keep it consistent, right? Got to keep it consistent. Well, folks, as always, thanks for listening. Danny, where can the folks find you?
Oh, they're going to have a hard job finding me now, mate, because I am out on the motorcycle so much more than that. Now the weather is beautiful here. So you'll find me on the road somewhere. Trying to get that horizon.
And folks, if you like what you heard, do all the socials, like, rate, comment, subscribe, share. We would definitely appreciate it. Also, jump on the Discord. Let us know what your thoughts are on any of the news we talked about today. Let us know what you thought about The Witcher. Let us know what you thought about Warner Brothers losing $2.3 billion. How do you lose that much money? Where is it? Where'd they put it? Checking the couch. Or if you had differing opinions about Wendell and Wild, or if you agree with us, we would love to hear about it. You can find me at Sir Jonesius on all of those social platforms. And of course, right here on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. Thanks to Kyle for producing on the ones and twos, and we will catch you on the next one.
Sure.
Hasta lasagna.